Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kaylee Fitzpatrick, and I am honored to have been granted the opportunity to deliver this speech today. As you all know, this year has definitely stood out from the rest, and as a class, we have overcome more challenges than we can possibly fathom. All we have become today would not have been possible without the love and guidance of Mrs. Fici, Father Joy, Ms. Gross, faculty, staff, our parents, and of course, my fellow graduates in the class of 2021. Thanks to your creativity, determination, and nonstop dedication towards St. Anne's, we can be here today, celebrating our graduation appropriately. For me, St. Anne's is all I've ever known. I have been attending St. Anne's since I was 3. I'm 14 years old now, and almost 11 years of my life have been spent as a student here. In all honesty, I could not consider myself to be any luckier. I've learned so much more than what is taught in the textbooks, and I have made friends who know me better than I know myself. On behalf of the class of 2021, it is safe to say that St. Anne's has been a crucial facet of the book we call our lives, with every grade level acting as a chapter, and every character influencing who we are as people. Our story begins with the first chapter, where Miss Barbara, Miss Gail, and Miss Connie guided us through our first year as Patriots. We didn't know at the time that this unfamiliar place would soon develop into the main setting in which we would be spending the next 10 years of our lives. I would also like to thank you for teaching us the value of independence, as it was the first time we had ever left our parents' sides. Currently, Miss Erin, Miss Donna, and the other preschool teachers are guiding our youngest Patriots in embarking on their own journeys and starting their newest chapters. Moving on to our second chapter, Sister Janet and Miss Nicosi taught us the basics of our educational foundations and allowed us to create bonds that have enhanced the plot of our story. The girls who were placed at my table on the first day of kindergarten have developed into the main characters of my life, and it would not have been possible without the patience of our kindergarten teachers. In the first grade, Miss Hemmets taught us how to have compassion for animals, and we will never forget the double song. My most prominent memory from that grade is actually something that my friends still joke about to this day. We were sitting at our desks taking a religion test when I heard 2 girls whispering the wrong answers to each other. I still don't know why this bothered me so much, but I tried to tell them that their answers were wrong. My efforts were to no avail, and the whispering continued. Therefore, as a petty 7-year-old, I told on them to the teacher. I soon realized that snitches get stitches, and that telling on them did not make anything better. It only got my friends mad at me. As we were moments from graduating, Mariana and Bella took this speech as a chance to finally apologize for our first grade shenanigans. I would also like to thank Mrs. Hemmets for everything she's done to develop the plot in our journeys at St. Anne's. For our next chapter, Miss Abednego was always there to guide us in receiving communion, learning how to write in cursive, and in preparing us for the upcoming chapters in our story. She also taught us that hard work pays off in the end when we would be rewarded with the class teddy bear. At the end of every week, the student who had behaved the best or had shown the most improvement from the week prior would be lent teddy for the weekend. Miss Abednego left our class with a growing passion for our faith and a determined mindset for the upcoming years. Moving forward in our stories, our 3rd grade year was spent playing math knockout and bubble pop with Miss Pinocchio. The prominent highlight of that year was when we were featured on New York 1 for celebrating the arrival of the Pope in America. Some of us even got to witness him passing through Central Park because of it. Miss Pinocchio made the 3rd grade a crucial chapter of our lives at St. Anne's. In Chapter 6, Miss McKeon instilled an undying love for learning and a sense of patriot pride in every student that she taught. Miss McKeon taught us that if you change your perspective on learning, it can be viewed as exciting instead of being a chore. For example, in 4th grade, we grew an avocado plant and named it Ave. We had so much fun taking care of it and tracking its growth. In the end, Ave the avocado did die. However, the experience became the climax of our 4th grade year. Ms. McKeon, we will always remember you for the endless fun, memories, and the impact you have had on our stories. In the summer before 5th grade, we were unsure of who our teacher would be. As expected, rumors spread about our potential teacher as we anticipated the start of the school year. Once we were told it was Ms. Michaelaskis, we were thrilled to begin the 5th grade. We already knew Ms. M as our UBC coach, so we knew she was going to be just as good as a teacher. Ms. M is an amazing math teacher who is always there to talk, and I hope you remember us as your first class at St. Anne's. Moving forward in our journeys, Ms. Brass was exactly what the plot of our stories needed to guarantee the best outcome possible. In simpler terms, 6th grade was definitely rough. We had just seen 60 characters in our stories, and assimilating into the upper grades was going to be a long process. However, Ms. Brass has the patience of a saint. Despite every obstacle we faced as a class, Ms. Brass is always there with her speeches and life lessons, encouraging us to be the best versions of ourselves. Not only was Ms. Brass constantly there for us as people, she also provided us with the tools necessary to become proficient readers and writers. Ms. Brass redirected us on the right path to continue our remaining chapters at St. Anne's. In 7th grade, we were lucky to have Miss Lorraine as our religion teacher. It was always a pleasure to listen to her stories and learn from her wisdom. Additionally, in the 8th grade, we came across the newest character in our St. Anne's experience, our math and science teacher, Miss Neshi. It is safe to say that in the beginning of the school year, we welcomed her with open arms by being complete angels. Definitely not. However, once we got to know Miss Neshi, we realized that she is one of the most funniest and most kind-hearted teachers we have ever come across. Personally, my favorite memory with Miss Neshi is when we would do science experiments, especially when using the microscopes. Miss Neshi always went out of her way to make math and science fun with videos and projects. Thanks to you, we will be prepared for high school in the fall. For our final chapter at St. Anne's, we were gifted with a teacher who truly understands the value of being a patriot, Ms. Gross. Ms. G saw the potential in each and every one of us and directed us into students that are prepared for any assignment handed our way. Not only did she allow us to prosper academically, she also empowered us to make the most out of our last year together. My favorite memory from my final year at St. Anne's was when we would have breakfast together as a class on Fridays. These breakfasts truly allowed us to bond as a class as our final chapter at St. Anne's was coming to an end. Ms. Gross, we will always remember how you made our last year here one to remember. Additionally, Ms. Lorenzo was the best lunch monitor our class could have ever asked for. You went above and beyond in helping us come up with ideas to fundraise and host an ideal dance at the end of the year. On behalf of the class of 2021, I would like to recognize the teacher we unfortunately did not get the chance to have, Ms. Criscolo, for always wishing us well and for putting up with our Wake Up Patriots nonsense in the hallways. Ms. Criscolo, your kindness toward our class does not go unnoticed, and we will miss you next year. Dr. Dragos, Mrs. Panaccio, Mrs. Michaelaskis, and Mrs. Cancro have all watched us develop from timid kindergartners to 8th grade students who, thanks to you, are now ready to continue our stories in high school. Dr. Dragos prepared us for high school through music history classes. Also, those who participated in the Patriots program will never forget the fun we had, perfecting our song and dance routines. Ms. Panaccio, when we discovered that we would be having you a second time as our art teacher, we were so excited to see what the year would hold. You certainly did not disappoint when you came in each week with a smile on your face and a new objective to work on. In addition, Mrs. Michaelaskis allowed us to realize that mistakes will always happen and that our best is more than enough. We will always remember your unique games and your legendary field days. Mrs. Cancro, I don't know how you had the patience to not only teach us Spanish, but to have put up with us at 8:15 every Tuesday and Thursday morning. We will never forget your quick-witted jokes and your overall good-natured personality. Mrs. Brownridge and Mrs. Copeneffer are two characters who have constantly kept us in good spirits for several chapters in our stories. Thank you for the unlimited copies, snacks, and encouragement throughout our years at St. Anne's. Since our stories began, Mrs. Feachy has been our lifeline in even the toughest of situations. Mrs. Feachy has led us through the pandemic and made it look easy. Although this year is unconventional compared to the rest, she made sure our last year together was one for the books. Mrs. Feachy, thank you for everything. We will never forget your love and kindness towards us throughout all of our years attending St. Anne's. So my graduating class of 2021, we did it. We took what was handed to us and made the most out of it. We were able to say that we are now fully prepared for the next chapter of our lives. Although some characters may come and go, their impact on the final outcome of our stories remain. At the end of the book, you always look back and realize how much the characters have changed since the story began. I hope that somewhere along the line, you look back and remember the core values St. Anne's has instilled within us, because essentially, it is who we are. We are people who love God, serve our community, and have the power to someday change the world. It has been such an honor to have spent the majority of my life by your sides, and I know that you are all capable of anything you put your minds to. St. Anne's has provided us with the critical values to begin our next chapter. And with that being said, I wish you all the best. Thank you for everything.